Hello everyone, welcome to Mastermind. Today let us learn about a very important international dispute which is the South China Sea dispute. Before we dive into the issue, let us know the location of the South China Sea first. This is very important as the geography and the location of the South China Sea will be asked in many of the multiple choice questions in various examinations. So let us now proceed to know the location of the South China Sea. South China Sea. If you look at this particular part over here, this is the South China Sea. It is actually an arm of Western Pacific Ocean. It is an arm of Western Pacific Ocean. Here is the Pacific Ocean. Somewhere over here is the Pacific Ocean. So, as this South China Sea lies to the west of Pacific Ocean, this is called as western arm of the Pacific Ocean. So please remember it is the western arm of the Pacific Ocean and it lies in the Southeast Asia. This region over here is called as Southeast Asia where Vietnam, Thailand, etc. are located. This region is the Southeast Asia and this South China Sea is located in the Southeast Asia and is an arm of Western Pacific Ocean. And now if you look at the location closely, it is located to the south of China. This is China. So to the south of China is the South China Sea. And it is located to the east and south of Vietnam. So this is east and south of Vietnam. So this is Vietnam. This country is Vietnam. So it is located to the east and south of Vietnam. To the west of Philippines, this is Philippines. So to the west there is South China Sea and to the north of island of Borneo, South China Sea is located. It is connected by Taiwan Strait with the East China Sea. So here is the Taiwan Strait. Here comes the Taiwan Strait. So here is the Taiwan Strait. So this is the East China Sea. This is the East China Sea. So South China Sea is connected to the East China Sea through the Taiwan Strait and it is connected to the Philippine Sea. So this is Philippines over here. Here is the Philippine Sea. This is the Philippines Sea. So this South China Sea is connected to the Philippine Sea through the Luzon Strait. So here comes the Luzon Strait between Taiwan and Philippines. These two straits are very important. Please remember. So South China Sea is connected to the Philippine Sea through the Luzon Strait and South China Sea is connected to the East China Sea through the Taiwan Strait. So you will have to remember these straits and along with these things here comes the Celebes Sea, here comes the Celebes Sea and here comes the Sulu Sea. Here comes the Sulu Sea. So please remember these two seas as well. So this is about the geography and the location of the South China Sea. Now let us dive into the issue. South China Sea is a critical commercial entryway for a substantial portion of the world's merchant shipping and therefore it is an important strategic and economic sub-region of Indo-Pacific. It is also the spot of numerous complex territorial disputes. There have been many disputes in this region because most of the countries in the region have been trying to establish their supremacy or sovereignty over the South China Sea because since it's a crucial commercial entryway for a substantial portion of the world's merchant shipping and it also houses large amount of resources in the form of oil and gas. So this has made many countries in the region to establish or they have been trying to establish their supremacy over the South China Sea. China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, Taiwan, all these countries have competing claims over the South China dispute. Countries that share the South China Sea with China feels that China's hegemonic actions are affecting their economic prospects and also Chinese actions have also been threatening their sovereign rights in the South China Sea. So countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines and Taiwan are hostile towards the hegemonic actions of China in the region. The dispute is over territory and sovereignty over the ocean areas and the Paracel and Spratly Islands as well as the Scarborough Shoal. So the Paracel Islands and Spratly Islands have been claimed in whole or in part by several countries in the region including Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, Taiwan, China, etc. Alongside these fully fledged islands, Paracel Islands and Spratly Islands, there are dozens of rocky outcrops, atolls, sandbanks and reefs such as the Scarborough Shoal. This is the Scarborough Shoal. So this is Paracel Islands, this is Scarborough Shoal, and these are Spratly Islands. So these three regions have been claimed by many countries in the region as their own. China claims by far the largest portion of the territory, an area defined by the 9 dash line. Please see here, which is marked by a red line over here. This is the China's 9 dash line. It is the China's 9 dash line. So this actually stretches hundreds of miles south and east from its most southerly province of Hainan. So there's a southerly province of Hainan over here. So this actually 9 dash line, it stretches over hundreds of miles away from this southern province of Hainan. China's sweeping claim is based on this 9 dash line. So please remember this name, 9 dash line. They might ask you in multiple choice questions. 9 dash line recently seen in news is connected with South China Sea. So please remember, 9 dash line is the basis for which China is claiming South China Sea as its own. China advocates that its right to the area date back centuries to when the Paracel and Spratly Islands were considered as integral parts of Chinese nation, and in the year 1947, China issued a map depicting Paracel Islands and Spratly Islands within its territory. It displayed the two island groups lying completely within its territories. So China issued a map in 1947 which showed Paracel Islands and Spratly Islands within the territory of China. However, Taiwan also says that Paracel Islands and Spratly Islands are an integral part of Taiwan. We know that China and Taiwan have one China principle between them. However, critics argue that China has not clarified its claims sufficiently. Critics say that the 9 dash line that appears over here, this is the 9 dash line as I've already shown you. This 9 dash line has got no coordinates. So the Chinese maps encompassing almost the entirety of the South China Sea includes no coordinates. So critics argue that this line has been roughly drawn to include most of the islands and most of the region in South China Sea into China. So it is also not clear whether China claims only land territory, that is the Paracel Islands, Scarborough Shoal, Spratly Islands, Natuna Islands in the region, or whether all the territorial waters within the line. So all the territorial waters within the line is also under the control of China, because China has not made clear whether only land territory within the 9 dash line or all the territorial waters within the line comes under the control of China. However, this claim of China has been strongly disputed by Vietnam. Vietnam argues that China had never claimed sovereignty over these islands before 1940s. Vietnam, this is Vietnam. Vietnam says that Paracel, Scarborough, Spratly Islands, etc. have not been claimed by any nation before 1940. However, Vietnam says that it has actively ruled over the Paracel and Spratly Islands since the 17th century, and Vietnam also says that it has got all the necessary documents to prove its claim. In addition to China and Vietnam, there's one more major player in the region called Philippines. So this is the Philippines. As you already know, this is the Philippines region. Philippines says that the Scarborough Shoal and Spratly Islands are geographically very close to Philippines. Hence, Philippines has supremacy over these two islands, the Spratly Islands and the Scarborough Shoal in the region. So Philippines invokes its geographical proximity to the Spratly Islands as the main basis of its claim for part of the grouping. Both Philippines and China have been laying claim to the Scarborough Shoal. This is the Scarborough Shoal, a little more than 100 miles from the Philippines. This is just 100 miles from Philippines and 500 miles from China. So Scarborough Shoal has been a bone of contention between China and Philippines. So Philippines actually took this issue to the Permanent Court of Arbitration in the year 2013. Philippines took this step because the UN Convention on Law of Sea, or UN clause, UNCLOS also it is called as, so which China has already ratified. Many countries in the world have ratified UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, and China is one among those countries to have ratified it. Philippines argued that despite ratifying the law, that is the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, China is going against the very rules and laws of UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Philippines challenged China's far-reaching claims to the South China Sea, contesting China's claim that the many reefs, atolls and rocks qualify as islands, and Philippines argued that China's tough tactics ignore the rule of law under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. According to China, the reefs, atolls and rocks in the Scarborough Shoal also qualify as islands, over here in the Scarborough Shoal, and hence Scarborough Shoal, since it is included within the 9-dash line, comes under the supremacy of China. This was the argument by China. However, the Hague-based Permanent Court of Arbitration issued a decision in 2016 rejecting China's claim as lacking a basis in international law. So, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, which is based in Hague, issued a decision. It issued a direction in the year 2016 saying that China's claims is lacking a basis in international law. However, after refusing to accept the ruling, China did not accept the ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration. China refused to accept it, and China has continued its encroachment activities in the South China region, including the creation of artificial islands to further strengthen its claim over the South China Sea. The countries of Malaysia and Brunei. Brunei is actually somewhere over here. So, the countries of Malaysia and Brunei have also claims to territory in the South China Sea that they say falls within the exclusive economic zones as defined by UN clause, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Brunei, however, does not claim any of the disputed islands, but Malaysia claims a small number of islands in the Spratlys. So this is the Spratly. As you already know, this is Spratly. Brunei is somewhere over here actually. To sum it up, the Paracel Islands are claimed by China, Vietnam and Taiwan. The Scarborough Shoal is claimed by China, Taiwan and Philippines. The Spratly Islands are claimed by China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Brunei and Philippines. So please remember these points. So this is all about various countries trying to establish their supremacy over South China Sea. Now let us look at the capitals of those countries. We all know that the capital of China is Beijing. Capital of Vietnam is Ho Chi Minh. Please remember, capital of Vietnam is Ho Chi Minh. Capital of Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. Capital of Brunei is Bandar Seri Begawan. Bandar Seri Begawan. The capital of Philippines is Manila, and the capital of Taiwan is Taipei City. Please remember all these names. Along with this, there could also be questions asking you to arrange the islands in the order from north to south. So northernmost is the Paracel Islands, and then Scarborough Shoal, and then is the Spratly Islands. So it comes in this fashion. Please remember this. Now, let us look at the importance of the South China Sea. Geographically, the South China Sea plays a significant role in the geopolitics of the Indo-Pacific region. So, it plays a significant role in the geopolitics of the Indo-Pacific region. South China Sea, as we have already seen, is bordered by Brunei, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, etc. The recent economic growth of these countries have been contributed or has been attributed to a large portion of the world's commercial merchant shipping passing through these waters. As we have already told you that it is a crucial commercial gateway. It is a crucial commercial entryway for merchant shipping. So hence the economic development of the surrounding countries is heavily dependent on the South China Sea. South China Sea also contains rich and unregulated. So it contains rich but unregulated and overexploited fishing grounds. It contains overexploited fishing grounds, and it is also estimated to hold significant reserves of undiscovered oil and gas. Significant reserves of oil and gas which has not been discovered yet. This actually is an aggravating factor in maritime and territorial disputes. Let us say there is a territorial dispute or a maritime dispute over a region. If that region, in addition to being strategically important, if it contains crucial resources, then it will aggravate the dispute. So the aggravating factor in the South China Sea is that it holds significant reserves of undiscovered oil and gas. The sea is estimated to house 11 billion barrels of untapped oil. According to an estimate, 11 billion barrels of untapped oil is said to be in South China Sea. And in addition to this, 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas is also said to be present in the South China Sea. Please remember these points. Japan and South Korea. two countries, Japan as well as South Korea, depend heavily on the South China Sea for their supply of fuels and raw materials. And South China Sea is also an export route. Although the availability of diversionary sea lanes bypassing the South China Sea provides non-littoral states with some flexibility in this regard. South China Sea holds remarkable strategic importance for its location, as it is the connecting link between the Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean comes somewhere over here. It is the connecting link between the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. As we have already discussed, the South China Sea is the western arm of the Pacific Ocean. So South China Sea is the connecting link. It is a crucial link between the Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, and it passes through the Straits of Malacca. This is the Strait of Malacca, please remember. And we all know that Strait of Malacca is the primary choke point in Asia, and in recent years between 85 to 90%, 85% to 90% of annual total petroleum flows through this choke point or crude oil. So 85% to 90% of the annual total petroleum that has flown in the Strait of Malacca is the crude oil. So it becomes very important to have South China Sea free from any form of coercions. So critics and experts argue that South China Sea should not come under the undue influence or hegemony of any country for the world trade to continue unhindered. So this is all about South China Sea dispute. Please go through the video multiple times for better clarity, and also refer to the article as well. Please solve the multiple choice questions given on the topic on the e-paper. Thank you.